The Orlando Magic have won a game. Woohoo! But it's how they continue to define themselves that's going to push them forward today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is November 9th, 2024. My name is Philip Rossman. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, the Orlando Magic continue to find who they are as they get their first win since Paolo Banchero's injury, defeating the New Orleans Pelicans. We'll break down what the Magic did to finally break through on offense, because they still didn't shoot well, and how Franz Wagner is defining his stardom. We're going to get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. And you can make Locked On Magic an even bigger part of your day by signing up for the Locked On Magic daily newsletter. It's the one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com. And start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic newsletter. This episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to win $50 instantly when you play your first $5 line of Prize Picks. Run your game. Everything for the Orlando Magic for the last week has been in flux. It's been a tough week, but no getting around it. There's definitely a bit of shock about losing Paolo Banchero, and players in this team have had to reconfigure themselves without practice time on the road against considerably tough opponents. So before we get any further, we have to admit the context. We have to note that, yes, the New Orleans Pelicans are down a ton of players, including, I believe, 4 starters in CJ McCollum, DeJounte Murray, Zion Williamson, and Herb Jones. Not to mention some other very, very key players. So we have to admit the context in which this game is played. And we'll talk where the Magic struggled in this one still and why things aren't like completely put together. But at the end of the day, this is what's going to matter, and this is what's going to pull the Magic through. Players have had to redefine their roles, but no player has been asked to step up and evolve more than Franz Wagner. No player has been asked to expand his responsibility to this team more than Franz Wagner. And it is something to be obsessed with. It is something to think about a little bit. Stardom in this league matters. Every team needs their star. Every team, it goes as far as their star will take them. It's the NBA. One player has such a massive impact. And look, for all the things that Paolo Banchero might be flawed at, for all the things that he might struggle with, Paolo Banchero is a gravitational force. Paolo Banchero has planets orbiting him because so much attention is given to him. And part of what the Magic are missing is the attention and is the intensity that Paolo brings. Way back in the draft process, you probably remember me talking about this, that Paolo Banchero was the one guy among those top 3 that played like a star, that had the understanding and had the grasp of, it's my turn to take over. We need a basket. I'm going to get a basket. The kind of thing that settles a team down. And over the last 3 years, if there's been one thing that Magic fans have been critical of Franz Wagner for, it's that he has a tendency to play in the background. Yes, he will get you 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 points per game. Yes, he has these big scoring bursts. But he isn't the one breaking someone down in isolation. He isn't the one that the Magic turn to when they need a bucket. Even when Paolo wasn't on the team, Franz wasn't, quote unquote, the star. And if there's one thing that the Magic are about to learn, or the Magic are going to learn over the next month, is whether Franz can take that step up. This is the big opportunity. This is what this is why missing Paolo, as bad as it is a blessing, because it's going to force everyone to up their game. And then when Paolo comes back, they'll be playing at that higher level, and the Magic will have a better idea of what this thing actually looks like and how they can help Paolo. And we'll assess it. It's only been a week. It's only been 5 games. We'll assess it as it goes. But the last 2 games have seen Franz Wagner take an evolution, or begin to at least take this responsibility and understand what his team needs from him. More importantly, forget about the scoring, forget about anything else. It's what the Magic need from Franz now that he is the quote-unquote star player. And look, we know the Magic are going to play defense. We'll get to the defense here in a minute. We know that they are going to play with that kind of energy and intensity. But obviously the offense is a piece of work right now. Obviously the offense is a struggle. And that's where the Magic need their star most of all. That is where they need someone who's going to take over. And so for the second straight game, Franz Wagner set the tone from the beginning. 17 points in the first quarter, attacking the basket with speed and aggression, trying to get to his spots, getting to new spots, displaying that kind of stop short floater, taking a few mid-range jumpers, knowing that when he has the ball, yes, the defense is loading up against him, but he has to be able to beat it. He has to be able to create that tension and find the open man. He had 21 points in the first half against the Indiana Pacers, 17 points in the first quarter against the New Orleans Pelicans, finished with 28 points against the Pacers on Wednesday, finished with 27 points, 9 for 18 shooting, 7 for 8 from the foul line, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Franz Wagner is defining how he's going to help this Magic team. And look, he doesn't have to score 25 a game. Getting there would be nice because that replaces what the Magic lose in Paolo Banchero, but he has to be aggressive. He is an excellent driver. He has to drive. He has to create that tension in the defense. He is developing into a very nice passer. This is the 4th time in 5 games that he's had 6 assists. Something that, he was improving on, but was not showing before. Franz Wagner is expanding his game. And more importantly, Magic and the Magic's players know this is the Franz Wagner they need right now. Frankly, this is the Franz Wagner they're going to need when Paolo Banchero comes back. They need this aggression. They need this player who is confident. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it's all perfect. Obviously, yes, they're playing the New Orleans Pelicans, a team that is littered with injuries right now, not at full strength. The Pelicans were the perfect medicine for the Orlando Magic right now. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to hide from it. The Magic needed a game like this. They got a game like this. They got an opponent like this. They got themselves right. Maybe got a little bit of confidence, and we'll see what it looks like Sunday against Washington, who's a lot better than people thought they would be at the beginning of the season. Undoubtedly, that's part of this too. And so we can't hide from it. But you still have to do the job. And Franz did the job. Franz did exactly what the Magic need from him. And whether this can continue, because now we got 2 straight games of this. Whether this continues, that's going to be part of it. There were bad moments in this game. Second and third quarter, the Magic went through this crazy offensive drought. They led by 24 with about 5.5 minutes to play, scored 3 points the rest of the way. New Orleans got within 10. They got the lead as close as 6. And throughout that time, you could see the Magic trying to create mismatches. And the way that they create mismatches for Paolo, with post-ups, trying to create switches. And it was just like very forced. Instead of just giving the ball to Franz and kind of spreading the floor with the pick and roll and going, it felt very forced. And that's not going to work. Maybe they need to learn that, but that's not going to work. And Franz was trying to assert himself and trying to make the right play. And yes, players didn't make shots again. But you can see the bones. You can see the direction that this team is trying to go. And you can see the potential that Franz still carries. The hope, the anticipation, the aggression that the Magic need from Franz Wagner. It's going to turn out that if the Magic are where they want to be when Paolo Banchero comes back, Franz Wagner is going to have to play at an all-star level. And with the way the East is, he very well could be an all-star because of this. More importantly, on the more granular level, this is what the Magic need. They need someone who's going to constantly attack, who can get to the basket, can score, can pass, can create tension, can create rotations in the defense. And there will be better opponents. There will be more difficult challenges, and Franz may not be ready to rise to all of them. But this is how he's going to define his stardom. And that's what the Magic need right now. Obviously, the Orlando Magic scored 115 points, and it was not just about Franz Wagner. We'll talk about how the Magic found some offense coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. It is the weekend. Football is coming up here. I'm recording here on a Saturday morning, so you're probably getting ready for college football. You're getting ready for NFL Sunday, plus plenty of Magic basketball. You want to get in on the action, and that's where Prize Picks comes in. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. All you have to do is pick more or less and watch the winnings come in. All you have to do is go through their list of projections and say whether the player will score more or less than the projection. So if you want to take Franz Wagner against the Washington Wizards and the number is 23.5, you just say whether he's going to score more or less than 23.5. It's really that simple. You could put together a grouping through multiple sports, and Prize Picks really has all the benefits for you. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineup stays in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks is going to keep that lineup live and return that pick to you. With Prize Picks, you can even win your money back without having a perfect pool. It's really easy actually, because you put together a pool of 4. If you get 3 right, you essentially get your money back. It's so easy to win, and it's so much fun. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy that I play. That's the one that I play because of this. I do pretty well. I think I know sports pretty well. I do pretty well. I at least get my money back. And unlike those other daily fantasy games, it's no confusing salary cap, no confusing scoring system. It's just you versus the numbers. That's the best part. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your $5 lineup. Again, download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, do live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. FanDuel has everything you could think of, whether you're getting ready for college football today, where the Florida Gators are closing in at 21.5 point underdogs at Texas, or UCF taking on Arizona State, 2.5 point dogs on the road heading out west. If you want to get ready for NBA action, they don't have Magic Wizards up yet, but they have all the odds for the NBA this season. And crazy thought here, check out MLS odds. Orlando City favored -125 to win their game against Charlotte FC, their do-or-die game against Charlotte FC today at Inter & Co Stadium. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Obviously, it's been a rough week for the Magic offensively. That's an understatement. And it continues to be frustrating. But the good news is the Magic, the last two games, have started to find it. They started to kind of figure out how they're going to function offensively. And look, the Magic shot 8 for 32 from three again. Fourth straight game shooting under 30% from three. It's concerning. They are missing open shots. They're taking the right number of attempts. 32 is probably going to be, low 30s is probably going to be the right number of attempts for this team. They can't stop shooting threes. It's too important in this game. It's too important for spacing and everything else. The Magic cannot abandon the three-point shot. If it's there, they have to take it. And for the most part, there are a few bad ones, but for the most part, I like the Magic's three-point looks. I'm not complaining about it. But the Magic obviously have to find a new way to create offense because it can be really difficult. I mentioned it briefly in the previous segment. Orlando led by 24 in the second quarter. They were rolling. There was no stopping them. And then all of a sudden, they take a 24-point lead, and the offense just dries up. And a lot of it was missed open shots. A lot of it was missed shots at the rim. The same problems that we've seen. And New Orleans, even this depleted New Orleans team, was able to get back into the game. They got it down to as low as 6 in the third quarter before the Magic, I think the Magic went about 9 minutes of game time without a field goal. And the Magic have tried to supplement this in other ways. They're getting to the line, 17 for 21 from the line. They did a good job there. They're scoring a lot more in the paint. A big emphasis is going to be make your shots in the paint. They didn't do that in Dallas, I believe, as they really struggled scoring in the paint. This game, they're 37 for 51. And you could do the math. That's 74 points in the paint. That's 4 shy of the Magic's record for most points in the paint in a game. It's crazy. That's back-to-back 70 points in the paint games. I don't believe the Magic had any of those types of games last year. I say it all the time with this team, win the paint, win the game. If the Magic are able to control the paint on both ends, they will win. But really the key to this game, and really the key to generating offense for this team right now, is they have to use their defense. They have to turn their defense into offense because their defense is going to create easy looks. It's going to create opportunities for them to score and create an unbalanced floor, create mismatches, create the kind of ball movement that will generate good shots that they will make. The Magic started this game off hot on defense. Forget the offense. They started it hot on defense. They got 3 steals within the first 4 or 5 possessions. They turned all 3 of those into fast breaks. They were up 6-0 like that, split, like really fast. I don't know if you heard me snap. They were aggressive and hounding on defense. And then they switched to a zone on occasion. They were really solid in that zone as well. The Magic were just really, really, really looking to get to the ball. At the end of the day, New Orleans turned it over 16 times for 20 points. Not terrible numbers, not like overwhelmingly great numbers, but not terrible. But the Magic recorded 26 fast break points. Oddly, 12 for 16 on fast breaks. The Magic are usually not a very efficient fast break team. And then, of course, like I said, 74 points in the paint, and they added 13 second chance points for good measure. The Magic are going to have to win these hustle stats. Like they're going to have to win these to win right now. And yes, the shooting is not there, and New Orleans strung together a couple threes during their run. A lot of them contested, some of them not. But the Magic know their defense is their heartbeat. And I think what was disappointing perhaps certainly in the Dallas and Oklahoma City games, maybe not so much in the Indiana game, as much, although the defense was shaky in that game. The Magic understand or have to understand that just because they're down a big guy on offense, just because they're not shooting well, their defense is so good when it's clicking and on. Their defense is so good that it will give them a chance to win the game. With Paolo, perhaps that defense is so good that they'll be up. Without Paolo, perhaps that defense is so good it just keeps them in the game. And that's all they need to be right now. They're going to play a lot of close games. That is a good sign if they're playing close games. Because they just need to be competitive and they need to give themselves chances to win right now. And right now, and the way the Magic played Friday night, their defense led the way. just look at you're giving up 88 points. Like, you're doing something right. I think New Orleans had like a 91 defensive rating or 92 defensive rating. It was in the mid to low 90s. That's incredible defense. And even though New Orleans made a push and got it down to 6, it was still a long push. It still took a long time. The Magic's defense was still pretty locked in. There's some loose moments perhaps, but when the Magic locked back in on defense, New Orleans just did not have the firepower or the consistency to beat them. And at the end of the day, the reason why the Magic won a 37-23 first quarter where the defense fed that offense, and then a 30-16 fourth quarter where the Magic just suffocated them and got out on the break and just really did whatever they wanted. This is how the Magic have to play. Like, again, this team right now is searching for its way to play. They're searching for how they move forward, how they create consistency, how they can be on top every time they play. That's the goal right now. That's what they're aiming for. That's what they have to do. And look, it's obviously taken some time. It's obviously needed some work to get where they need to be. And again, this opponent was ripe for the picking. This opponent was a get-right game. No offense to New Orleans. We love you, Locked On Pelicans. This game was a get-right game. The Magic needed this kind of game to just get this feeling and this confidence again. The Magic didn't have to shoot well. They're going to have to shoot better, obviously, against better opponents. But, like Tuesday in the NBA Cup against Charlotte, Friday against the Sixers. The Sixers are struggling right now, but they're still dangerous, and they'll have Embiid for Friday's game. Wednesday, obviously, against Indiana on that home back-to-back. The Magic still have work to do. But if their defense plays with this intensity and this efficiency, they're going to create offensive opportunities to make up for it. They're going to create moments that allow them to be successful. And that is all anyone can ask for at this point. The Magic showed us what their defense can do. And they're going to need their defense to play like this for the next month and a half while Paolo's out to give themselves real chances to win like they did on Friday night. We'll finish up the episode going through the box score. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of the Locked On Magic is brought to you by SKIMS. I don't know about you, but I don't like to think about underwear. Like that's kind of my in on this read. I don't want to think about underwear. I don't want to think about it being restrictive. I don't want to think about it being too tight. I don't want to think about it just feeling weird in the wrong places. Like that's not good. The less you think about underwear, the better, because that's like such a thing, right? It's uncomfortable to talk about. So let's get rid of that discomfort and wear, frankly, one of the most comfortable underwears that I have ever worn. SKIMS makes you feel comfortable. It makes you feel confident because it's pretty stylish if anyone gets to see it, but it just fits your body. It just fits you so that you don't have to think about it. SKIMS sent us a couple samples to get ready for this ad read. And look, I've been very skeptical about boxer briefs. I've always been a boxers person, but lately I've kind of been noticing that, maybe boxers aren't for me. SKIMS briefs were perfect. I really, really enjoyed this product. It is part of my rotation now. It is, frankly, I'm going to buy more. They gave us some samples. I might buy more because they're so comfortable. They form fit to you so that you feel ultimate comfort. It's the best. Whether you're buying a cotton boxer brief or one of their other great options, they have different like sizes too. It's really cool. I'm still learning about this world. But no matter what you buy, SKIMS fits you. And I think that's the most important thing. So shop SKIMS Mens at skims.com. Let them know we sent you after you place your order. Select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. And if you're looking for the perfect gift for the whole family, SKIMS just launched their biggest holiday shop ever, also available at skims.com. They do have women's apparel as well if you're looking to shop for your lady friends. Shop SKIMS Mens at skims.com. Remember to tell them that we sent you by selecting podcast and survey and finding our show. Check it out today at skims.com. Let's go through the final box scores. The Orlando Magic defeat the New Orleans Pelicans 115-88. Again, a much-needed win, a win that was fairly comfortable. Orlando raced out ahead early in the game. Never trailed. They never trailed in this game. They took control early. Their defense, their fast-breaking, Franz Wagner just took control of this game. And they didn't coast. But outside of that period in the second and third quarter when the Pelicans got the lead down to 6, the Magic just thoroughly dominated this game. They're able to create consistent pressure on the rim. They're able to get downhill, get to the basket, make some great passes. They had some great cutting. Again, I think what struggled in the second and third quarters, they're trying to force things to Franz a little bit too much. And they lost some of the movement and cutting that got them over the hump. We saw in this game, especially in that first and second quarter, what this Magic team can do when they create space and create movement. But admittedly, creating that space is still a challenge. They're still, kind of on the wrong side of the floor sometimes. Guys aren't moving fast enough to kind of get out of each other's way. You're seeing the ball on the strong side without great spacing at times. The Magic still have work offensively. I'm not going to sit here and pretend the Magic's offense is solved or perfect. They still shot 8 for 32 from 3, which, and again, a lot of those were good looks that the Magic need to fall. So, even if they got to 11 for 32, which, isn't a great percentage, but would be significantly better, this game really could have gotten out of hand. It could have been a much bigger blowout. But, again, I don't want to sugarcoat it. Like, again, they had that rough stretch in the second and third quarter, but they blew this game open otherwise. And again, I don't want to, it needs the context. The Pelicans are down several key players. They're missing DeJounte Murray, who broke his hand in the first game of the season. They're missing CJ McCollum. Zion Williamson sat out with hamstring tightness. Herb Jones is out. Jordan Hawkins is out. Troy Murphy's out. They're missing, not Troy Murphy. They're missing a lot of really key players. They're missing a lot of really key players, and they're struggling to find it right now. So their defense, worst defense in the league by defensive rating. This was a get-right game for the Magic. And again, it's on the Magic to take advantage of it. I had some friends say, the Magic should have blown this team out by more. Why is it a 6-point game in the third quarter? I was just like, the Magic are fine. Like you just kind of feel the temperature in the room. It's just like, like the Magic will go on a run here and put this one away. New Orleans made their big push. They didn't get all the way there. It's going to be fine. But, the Magic have to do it. And I think, this isn't 2K where it's just robots and automatons and it's just, pure player ratings, you're better. These are human beings. I think there's still a little bit of confidence. When some of those shots started falling, you could just kind of feel it infect everybody. This is still a team seeking confidence. So anywhere they can get confidence is a good thing. And at the end of the day, they did the job. Again, it's a 48-minute game. It's long. The Magic, you're not going to dominate for all 48 minutes. That just doesn't happen in the NBA unless you're the Cleveland Cavaliers against the Golden State Warriors. They did the job, and that's what matters. And they got some really good performances. Franz, they did a lot of really good things. Let's put it that way. Franz Wagner, 27 points, 9 for 18 shooting, led the way. 7 for 8 from the foul line, 2 for 5 from 3, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. We went through with him. A really, really solid game from him. Just really led the charge, set the tone for the game, set the tone for the aggression the Magic were going to need. Just played really, really well. Goga Bitadze also played really, really well. 11 points, 5 for 6 shooting, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks as well. His rim protection and his ability to block shots is so big for this team. And, everyone is starting to say, like, maybe Goga should start over Wendell when Wendell's back. I'm not there yet, but I do think Goga Bitadze, just like last year, Goga Bitadze deserves to be in a rotation. He is a rotation player at the very least. He gives the Magic an element that they don't have anywhere else on the roster, and that element is really, really important. And he played really well in this game, found guys, made great passes. There is a lot to like, and Goga Bitadze has refreshed this team since he jumped back into the lineup on Monday. He's given this team a major emotional lift and is really filled his role well. His lack of spacing and shooting does matter. He's very limited offensively, but he rolls hard, sets really good screens, is a better passer than people give him credit for. He played a really good game. Unfortunately for the Magic, the rest of the bench kind of struggled, or the rest of the starters kind of struggled. Tristan Da Silva, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Jalen Suggs all finished with 7 points each. Jalen Suggs was 3 for 9, 1 for 6 from 3, just missing shots. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 turnovers. He was really active defensively, though. He had a crazy block where he collapsed, fell on the floor. Had a great steal where he saved the ball from going out of bounds and started a fast break. Suggs is everywhere and is just really embracing that defensive attitude again. The offense has struggled without Paolo. Paolo set him up for a lot of his three-pointers. Those three-point attempts have gone down. You still need him to shoot. Do not get it wrong. You still need him to get 5 or 6 threes up a game. That's been a struggle. Obviously, he's missing them right now. His percentages are starting to come back down to earth a little bit. But, I think offensively, he's still a little loose with the ball, still, making some bad decisions, trying to do a little too much. But he's grown as a point guard too. And I think this game isn't a sign of that. It was a little bit of a step back, but still plenty of room for him to grow. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 3 for 9, 0 for 4 from 3, 5 assists for him. Kenny's passing has been really good. I do think we need to mention that. And while, yes, the shooting is really important from Kenny, and it hasn't come around yet. It's now been 10 games. He's gone through 8-9 game stretches where he shoots 20, 25% from 3. So this isn't abnormal. But the Magic do need Kenny to make shots. Let's not kid ourselves. But his passing was really good, really, really key to springing Franz Wagner open. He's finding other ways to score, and he's got to find other ways to score. But the three-point shooting's got to come around. Tristan Da Silva, I'm proud of Tristan Da Silva. He got 11 shots up, completely unafraid, just missed them. 3 for 11, 1 for 7 from 3, 3 rebounds. He's the 5th starter. He's not expected to do a lot, but I'm proud that he got all those shots up. He can't be afraid to shoot. I think the Magic are really happy with the kind of shots he's taken and how he's fit into that starting group. I think they're saying, they see all the IQ stuff that we all saw during Summer League and that everyone praised him for at Colorado. But yeah, like everyone else, got to make shots. Off the bench, Mo Wagner, 17 points, 8 for 11 shooting, 4 rebounds, starting to look more like Mo Wagner. Again, we know that when he gets the ball, he's trying to score. He's an offensive player, so his value comes from him being able to score and score efficiently. You look at his numbers year to year, he shot 65% from 2-point last year. He's down to low upper 50s. That's a big difference for him because he's taking so many 2-point shots. But Mo was great around the basket, really attacked well, got to his spots, got his shots up, and again, just did a lot. He was big in the fourth quarter, especially as the Magic pulled away and put this one firmly away. Anthony Black, 11 points, 4 for 6 shooting, really aggressive stuff. He didn't take a 3 in this game. And honestly, that's a good thing. When he is aggressive, when he's getting downhill to the basket, that's what the Magic need. In fact, someone asked Mo Wagner after the game about Anthony Black being aggressive, and Mo was like, we tell Anthony, just go to the basket all the time. We tell him, you're so big, so fast, so twitchy, you can get to the basket against anybody. They want him getting downhill. And while the passing is probably still going to be a work in progress with him, they want him to attack. They want him to be aggressive. They want everybody to be aggressive. They can spray out. They trust each other. They trust everyone making the right reads, but they know they need their young kid to go to the basket. So another really solid game. He did that against Indiana. It was a big boost to this team. Did it again in this game, was a big boost. Jonathan Isaac played only 9 minutes in this game in the first half. 10 points, 4 for 4 shooting, 2 for 2 from the line. Great cutting, great activity around the basket, great finishing around the basket, great rebounding on offense, especially. Jonathan Isaac was really, really solid in this game. Unfortunately, he left at halftime with hamstring tightness. He was on the bench, he wasn't getting treatment during the game. So I don't think it's anything super serious, but something to monitor because we know he's had issues with his hamstring. But probably Jonathan Isaac's best game of the season, had a season high in just a half. Plenty more to build on for him, and hopefully he's not out for too long. Last guy I want to mention, Cole Anthony. Finished with 8 points, 3 for 5 shooting, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Did not play in the first half. He came in the fourth quarter with Jonathan Isaac out. The Magic went to Cole Anthony, went to a bit of a smaller lineup, and let Cole go. And look, Cole's value is derived from his shooting, so getting a few shots to go down is good. But what impressed about Cole Anthony in this game was his aggression to attack the glass. We know he's a great rebounder for a guard, but his hustle on defense. He was diving on the floor for loose balls. he was trying to be everywhere in a controlled way. And you could feel his energy and impact on the floor. And being out of the rotation, this is how you make an impression. Like, we know Cole needs to score, and getting his shot right and making a three, making a couple shots around the basket. That's so big for him. Just restoring some confidence and building that trust back up with the coaching staff when you get in the game. Cole took advantage of this opportunity. Does that mean he's in the rotation on Sunday? I don't know. But Cole is someone the Magic need. They needed him last year. They need him still this year. They need that extra bit of creation with their bench, especially if Franz is going to play with the starters. Jalen Suggs isn't nearly the creator that Franz is. Things work because Franz anchored that second unit. Cole helped with that because Cole took on some of the star stuff that I talked about earlier, where he's a primary attacker, where he's trying to get in the lane, trying to create tension. The Magic really haven't had that this year because Cole hasn't shot the ball well enough to earn that role. This game was a huge step in the right direction. Wasn't quite garbage time. He had a lot of garbage time points, but really big impact in the Magic blowing this game back open in the fourth quarter and winning comfortably. A lot to like about Cole Anthony. The Magic score 74 points in the paint. Again, that's 4 off the team record. They shoot 52.3% from the floor. Only 8 for 32 from 3. That's 25%. So the Magic, again, New Orleans, partly it's the opponent, that the Magic were able to succeed and score without the three-point shot. As obsessed as we all are with the three-point shot, and it is important, it's going to be important in bigger games. This game, the Indiana game, show the Magic can still compete and can still win, even with their three-point shot not going down. What it takes is insane numbers scoring in the paint. You got to make up for it elsewhere. They make up for it in the paint, and especially they make up for it with their defense. New Orleans shot 38.1% from the floor. They were never above 50%. They got to around 44%, I think, during that third quarter run. There's always a struggle for New Orleans to score. They were just 10 for 31 from 3. So the Magic were not killed from beyond the arc. They have to keep that margin close. And they largely defended without fouling, 14 for 17 free throws. A lot of those fouls came in the second and third quarter when New Orleans made their run. So the Magic doing a good job keeping them off the line was big. Again, forced 16 turnovers. Magic have some stuff to clean up, but a really encouraging game overall. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at @PhilipRR_OMD. Subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all of the amazing podcasts to your podcast-enabled listening device. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us there on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, your Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. And if that's not enough, you can now check out the free Locked On Magic daily newsletter. It's the one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic newsletter. That's going to do it for me today, though. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. We'll be back on Monday to recap the Magic's game against the Washington Wizards. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy a busy weekend here in Central Florida, and we'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.